Welcome back to yet again another episode of The Natty Teacher. I am, of course, your host, who else? But The Natty Teacher, and today we got Push A. I'm excited. I'm really excited. Push sessions are fun, man. It's just, especially in the off season when you know performance is going to be relatively high. I got some good sleep. I'm hydrated. I got a couple meals in me. Had an off-plan meal last night on my second rest day. Because as a reminder, guys, my split right now, starting today, this is the new training week. This has been my split. I'm saying, like, this is the first day that I'll be using as an example, coincidentally. But it's push A today, push B, rest, shoulders and arms A, legs A, which is quads with a little bit of ham, excuse me, rest, and then all four of those sessions in a row. So then push B, pull B, shoulders and arms B, and legs B, which is, of course, hamstrings and glutes with a little bit of quads. And then 2 rest days. So yesterday was that second rest day after that, training week. Today is the first day of this new training week. So gotta love that, man. I'm excited, feel good, I feel refreshed, feel relaxed. Sometimes it's funny, your body almost feels more tired the more relaxed it is. That's how mine is. I feel like my system's going, throughout my training week. And then by the time I get to that second rest day, I'm just kind of I got to get into it a little bit, when I get back into the gym, just purely because I'm rested, got some good sleep. Again, I'm very hydrated. I have been consistent, by the way, still been rocking out my mobility work every morning, minus on the days where I have a full rest day. Morning cardio, of course, and core work in the form of stomach vacuums. I'm super I'm giving myself credit. I'm proud of that. I'm not saying that I was ever super inconsistent with that, but it definitely wasn't a daily thing with regards to especially the mobility piece. And I can already tell you guys, even after just a week and a half of that, we'll just say a week, it's a round number, I can already tell my mobility, especially in my upper body, I feel my shoulders, rotator cuffs and all that, already has increased. Without, I'm sure of it, I can feel it. They already just feel much more they just feel smoother. It feels like everything's moving smoother, you know what I mean? Instead of feeling kind of maybe tight or getting hitched here or a little tightness there, whatever it is, it just feels smooth, which is awesome. I love that. So I'm super, super happy about that. But anyways, push day. Today is pretty even split. It is more of both of my push days right now are very much so chest focused because I have shoulders and arms in my, in my training block now. So with shoulders and arms comes the idea of if I have a whole day dedicated to shoulders and arms 3 days from now, I don't need to put a ridiculous amount of shoulders and triceps or biceps or however you want to pair those muscle groups. I don't have to put a ton of that into this session. I'd rather bomb my chest, put a little bit more volume into the chest, and then, a little bit of side delts because they can recover pretty quickly, and a little bit of triceps as well, and maybe 3 working sets of each in this session, because again, 3 days from now we have a big shoulders and arms day, which does include an overhead press and pretty fair amount of side delt work, and obviously the majority of my arms, my bicep and tricep training is split between my 2 shoulders and arms days. So again, no need to overkill the volume here and just go crazy on it. Today is very much so the vast majority of our working sets, I believe 7 of our 13 total working sets today, so just over half, is all chest work. And again, in my opinion, with how I train right now, that's what I've noticed where recovery is really good. Training performance has been really good. Mind-muscle connection, everything I've needed has been locked in lately. So I'm excited for that. But anyways, the session itself. In the gym that I was training at for about a month or so, I was able to do incline cable flies, which was cool. I really like that. But with the gym that I switched back to, which again, it's one of those things where, you think the grass is greener on the other side, and it's just not. It was a nice gym. It just wasn't a great fit for me, just the vibe. The vibe was a little off. I got excited about some new equipment, but in reality, it's not stuff I really needed, that kind of thing. So anyways, regardless, I'm switching back to my normal gym where you've seen 90% of my videos filmed, or 95% of my now over 250 uploads filmed. That is between shorts and regular videos, so regardless, but it's a lot of uploads, it's crazy. But anyways, so I switched back, had to make a few adjustments. So the first movement we're gonna do kind of sounds crazy as far as just like, you know, everybody's so anti-free weight nowadays. Do an incline dumbbell fly, bro. Incline dumbbell fly, but with a little bit, not a twist, but where we're not, you know, we're gonna keep the hands in more of this sort of position here, rather than here, or rather than like fully, you know, with the palms facing down, more of a neutral position to kind of mirror like an incline cable fly. And then we're gonna just still have a bend in the elbow. So there is still going to be that hitch in the elbow. It's not gonna be like a straight arm like this. You know, I have very, very long limbs, and when I get into certain ranges of motion like that and like get really deep with a near straight arm, or mostly straight arm where it's not hitched at all, that tears up my shoulders. So I don't want to do that. So we're gonna do that. Then I have a plate loaded flat press to start. In this training block in particular, I am starting with more like flat or lower pec based pressing, and then going to incline pressing. It's just kind of how it's set up. Like I could flip it. I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. Like I want to, like, you know, build an even better lower chest. I feel like I have spent for years a lot of time trying to develop the upper chest. And regardless, I still have 3 total movements between my push A and push B. So 6 total movements, 6 total chest movements between push A and push B. And it's split, where 3 of them are more tailored towards the lower pec, 3 of them are more tailored towards the upper pec. And so I'm just like, I'll just rock it out. Just start with flat pressing in both sessions. Why not? You know, they're different presses, so why not? One of them's actually a slight decline, so it's not like a full flat, but regardless. There's a plate loaded converging flat chest press, because I was doing a machine chest press that converged at the previous gym I was training at, so we're going to use that. And then a low incline Smith press, so just 1 notch above flat, not a heavy incline whatsoever, very much so still is tailored towards the upper chest, no doubt. But yeah, that will be the order of our chest movement. So incline dumbbell fly, that converging flat chest press, and then a low incline Smith machine press. That will be the order of operations. Then we have some machine side laterals after that. So like a pin loaded machine side lateral. And then today we have for triceps, what was it? I think I was doing a crossbody extension, so I'm gonna have to flip that out for just another kind of push down. So either it'll probably be like some single arm push down, something along those lines for sure. So yeah, just simple tricep movement. Well, actually, wait, no, because I have that in my other session. So we'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll figure out a good, you know, some sort of tricep extension. There you go. You know, really loading up those triceps and going from there. So, oh no, it's overhead. Never mind. Single arm overhead extension. I'm sorry. That's never mind. That's brain fart on my part. My bad. Anyways, so yeah, so I'm about to pull into the gym here in a minute. So I'm gonna get in there, do just some basic minor mobility work, just kind of get warmed up, get everything re-loosened up and all that kind of stuff. And I'll catch you guys for the top set of my first movement, again, being incline dumbbell flies. And that'll be coming at you right about now.
All right, so up first, we got an old school one, man. Old school. Incline dumbbell flies. Now, what you're going to see here is I'm going to hinge my elbows pretty strong here. Not to like quite 90 degrees, but getting a pretty good stretch in that upper chest, but keeping a nice bend in those elbows. And this is the first time in a while I've done any variation of like any kind of incline or even flat dumbbell fly. So I was pretty happy with this, man. I was pretty stoked. You know, in this position here, in that stretch position, I actually felt really strong. We got the 80s here, did a top set of 8, and then we dropped the weight down to the 70s, cleaned up the form a little bit, and was able to rock that out for 10. So we'll work with the 80s for a little while here until we can really, you know, get that down to a solid 10 reps. Then we'll slowly make our way up after that. Then we have that converging chest press. If you see there, that little cue I just did, essentially I'm taking, instead of like cold starting the movement, it's like when you cold start a car in the winter, I do just a little warm-up move there. Essentially, you know, get that key in the ignition, get it warmed up before we just jump in for a couple minutes. But rewind that back a little bit, you can watch. I kind of did like a quarter rep to make sure that I'm not just like starting from the very, very bottom, and I brought that quarter rep all the way down into the stretch position and then pushed up from there. It's a phenomenal cue for a lot of movements. I've been using it for like leg movements, like leg extensions and what have you, going from there. Then you can see here my low incline Smith, nice control on the way down. We don't got to do a crazy eccentric. We're just going to touch off the chest, not bounce off the chest, but we are going to make sure we touch the chest and then push the bar back up using the chest and go from there. So 2 sets here, same with my other 2 movements, of course, top set, back off set, and going from there, man. So I think I had one more in the tank here, but I saved it, to be honest. Then you'll see again, little quarter rep to get started. So we get that tension going, and go from there. But we have some machine side laterals here. We did 3 working sets of this movement. So it felt really good, felt really strong, was able to increase the weight pretty substantially from the last time I did this movement. Was able to rock out 2 sets of 10 at this weight and then also a set of 8 at this weight. So we will add probably about 2.5 pounds to that, maybe 5, I don't know. I'm thinking closer to probably 2.5 pounds though, that we'll add to this next time we do this movement. And we'll go from there. So, yeah, it was good, though. Nice range of motion. You can see I am breaking that, horizontal plane, like right here. You can see it just slightly goes above that. I really don't think you need to bring the, arms way, way up. You can if you'd like to. But that's where the machine tops out for the C position is for me. So, yeah. Then did some Vulcan tricep extensions, meaning using one of like the Vulcan ropes. This thing is super, super comfortable. And for me, who's had issues with my elbows, especially my right elbow for a little while, it's really starting to feel a lot better. So I'm trying to be very particular with the movements that I use to make sure that I'm not overdoing it, overusing it, anything like that. So, excuse me. Yeah, it felt really, really good. So super, super stoked. And guys, that's it, man. 5 movements total. Again, always remember, more does not always equate to better. It is what you are putting into those sets. We did do 3 working sets here as well, keeping the reps all above 10 in a nice squeeze at the bottom, controlling that weight. So again, phenomenal, phenomenal session, guys. I was super, super stoked about it. And catch you in the outro.
All right. Yeah, push A session in the books. And guys, there is an old adage, an old statement, something along the lines of more does not always equal better. And I'll tell you what, that has been absolutely proof positive in some of these sessions. Some sessions I feel like I have a pretty wide variety, like my hamstrings and glutes, because I'm trying to be so specific with how I'm bringing those body parts up. And also it's just fun. I have a little bit more variety, 7, 8 exercises, maybe even 9 in that session. Big list, volume distributed, effectively and efficiently and where it's supposed to be. But I'll tell you, I've in this push session and actually in push B as well, especially now that I'm not doing a ton of like delt and tricep work. I'll tell you, I did 5 movements. It ended up actually being a total of, I want to say, 12 working sets in that session. 12 working sets total. 6 for chest, 3 for tricep, 3 for side delt in particular. And it was phenomenal. It was just enough to get to that point of like, okay, I got some left. I got a little left. Not a ton though, and I don't know how effective that would be used. But it wasn't so much to where I'm leaving the gym feeling battered. Like I just got run over by a semi-truck. And I've noticed in response to that, like my strength and my control and all of those things has only seemed to increase. I mean, I haven't done incline dumbbell flies in forever, and they were not perfect. I actually, my second set was much better than my first. But my top set with incline dumbbells on, incline dumbbell flies for how I'm trying to do them, what I feel like for how my chest is built. Again, how my chest is built and what I connect with. I did like 8 reps with the 80-pound dumbbells, which again, for some people is nothing. It's nothing. You can rep that out for 20, 30, 50. You know what I mean? For me though, especially after not doing incline dumbbell flies for, I can't even tell you how long. It's been over a year. It has to be at least over a year. I was like, okay. Wow, like my shoulders and like my upper chest have gotten really strong. It's funny, like I felt really strong in the stretch, because I've been doing so many like deep stretch movements. I felt usually where you'd feel the weakest, you know what I mean? Like when you have the weights down in this portion of the fly, like here, that's where I felt the strongest. Felt great, felt awesome, and it was sick. It was awesome. I put my back off set with the 70s for 10. And it was perfect. It was like a perfect 10 reps. I was like, what? And I'll tell you, it's funny, doing like such a heavily loaded dumbbell fly that early on in the session, and then doing like machine work, man, it made that stuff feel pretty easy. I'll tell you that. You know what I mean? I'll tell you that. That was awesome. Yeah, really enjoyed that converging chest press. Still will continue to kind of not play around with it too much because I felt like I kind of found my spot pretty good. But yeah, that felt really good. So I was super happy about that as well. Super stoked about that for sure. So that was awesome. And yeah, man, it's just, like I said, it was just such a sick workout, man. You know, elbows feeling better. This right elbow's feeling better. My rotator cuffs and shoulders are feeling so much better. And I honestly attribute a lot of that, especially up in my rotator cuffs, to not only how I warm up before I train, but also how I, like, you know, the amount of mobility work I've been doing as of late. You know, I've really been crushing my mobility work lately. I've been very consistent with it. And I can tell you already it has made a huge difference. So, yeah, that workout was awesome, man. And I had my post-workout meal already with me, so my blended meal with some digestive enzymes and fish oil as well. So I just packed them in a little pill case with me, and then just, you know, have it like that. But yeah, man, it was an awesome workout. And again, I mean, 12 total working sets. That's, you know, nothing. It's easy. It's light work, man. You know, not light by weight, but light as far as volume goes. You know, I'm not overreaching there, and it just felt really good. So I was just super happy with the result of that training session for sure. Like I said, I just felt very strong. Everything felt very in control. And even on a movement like, you know, my incline flies, where, you know, I haven't done them in a really long time, still just felt, you know, really good. You know, really strong. So, yeah, man. So, anyways, that's all I can say. So I am on my way, actually, kind of a weird one, on my way to Barnes & Noble, or Barnes & Nobles. I think it's plural at the end. It has an S at the end. So I'm on my way to Barnes & Nobles to pick up a book for my wife real quick. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, they have it. I reserved a copy earlier, but they never sent me like a confirmation that they got my reservation for the book to like set it aside. So fingers crossed that they got it for me. But regardless, I'm going to be there in just a minute or so. So every couple minutes, so I got to hop off the outro here. But hopefully you enjoyed that workout. Again, guys, simple stuff. Simple stuff. Nothing super crazy. Nothing out of the ordinary. You know, incline fly, flat converging press, low incline press. So basically incline, flat, incline, you know, and you know, then some side delts and triceps. It's very simple stuff. Very simple stuff. But anyways, if you have not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Guys, means a lot to me, means a lot to the continued growth of the channel. So thank y'all so much for tuning in and for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you drop it a like. If you really liked it, maybe even give it a share. That would be sweet. If you got any comments, questions, feedback, anything like that for me, make sure you drop those down in the comments section below. When I see them, I absolutely will. When I see them, I absolutely will respond to them. And yeah, man. Other than that, guys, hey, that's about all I got. So, without further ado, most importantly, above everything else, God bless. And from myself, the Natty teacher, and the entire Natty family, this episode, Road to Natty Pro, one of many more to come, is out. I'll catch y'all on the next one.